Welcome back to All Tea No Sugar. My name is Brian and I will be your host. And today we're going to be talking about consent, something that nobody really talks about often, but it's very important that we talk about it because consent is how we together work as a community and how it shapes us as a community. So today I am here with
Gia
and
Jade.
First, let's start off with a simple example that we had. If I have an order of fries, I can offer you some. And if you want some, you can have some.
You can ask me for fries, and if I say no, then you can't have any fries. If I say yes, then you can have some fries, but that's where it gets complicated.
If we're in a group and I say yes to giving you some fries, I don't need to say yes to everyone else in the group.
If I say yes to giving you some fries today, it doesn't make it okay for you to take my fries every day you want.
If I have fries and I say yes, you can have fries, and halfway through us eating fries, I say you can't have them anymore, then you can no longer get any fries.
If I have fries and a drink and I say yes, you can have fries, then you can have fries, not the drink.
If you ask me for fries and you don't get a response, then you can't just take my fries.
If I'm not around physically, mentally, or emotionally, you can't just take my fries.
If you ask me for fries and I say yes, you can't just add ketchup, mayo, or anything you want, unless you ask and I say yes.
If I have fries and I say no, it is not okay for you to keep asking for my fries.
If you ask me for my fries and I hesitate or say yes with an uncomfortable or unsure tone, then I'm not comfortable and you shouldn't take my fries.
Hopefully that example was helpful, but we do have one more scenario. This scenario was shared with us by a viewer, and we have consent to share this to the public. When I was 17, I called a cab service to pick me up one night. The driver at first seemed friendly and polite. He convinced me he didn't know the directions to my destination and that I should sit in the front seat to direct him. It wasn't long before he began making inappropriate sexual comments and gestures towards me. He then took a different route from the one that I told him to take. When we were in a secluded area, he pulled over and began rubbing my leg and basically telling me all the sexual things he wanted to do to me. I thank God for helping me keep calm and allowing me to quickly think of a plan. I smiled and flirted and convinced him that I was willing to do whatever he wanted and that I actually had some sexy clothes in my bag, in the back seat. Since the back seat is separate from the cab's partition, he had to let me out to open the back door. I opened it, I grabbed my bag and I ran. I ran as fast as I could down the dark road. 2 cars, both with male drivers, actually passed by me and I screamed for help. They looked at me but kept driving. Finally, a 3rd car full of women came down the road and they literally pulled me inside the car. These women were my angels. They immediately started chasing the cab and were able to drive up and cut him off. They dragged him out of the car and held him for the police. Unfortunately, the police seemed wary of my story, like they didn't believe me. They said it was my word against the drivers. They didn't even arrest him. All my family could do was complain to the cab company. They told us he would be fired, but I would never get closure out of it.
That's a really crazy story.
So, what are your thoughts or feelings about this?
That's like messed up, like that somebody could do that like so easily to a person, like.
Especially that this person is certified to like drive a vehicle for other people, as in like if someone needs to get somewhere, cab drivers are like trusted with the responsibility of getting them there safe. But for a cab driver to like take advantage of someone like that is like absolutely disgusting.
It's disgusting how a person could do that in general, like honestly. So like the one part like that, like there's so many things wrong with that story. 1, there was an underage person like in the passenger seat. 2, he didn't ask her if he could like talk sexual like that to her. And 3, like how like that it's disgusting to think like how a human could just think that way about a person like without asking them. Like it's not that hard to ask somebody. But even if like it's still an underage person, like that's wrong.
I agree with Gio. Like maybe if the cab driver showed any interest in their passenger, they could have asked them for like their number or something, just like show their interest or offer to take them out or somewhere, who the cab driver did take wrongful advantage of a 17-year-old child.
And then like people like wanna blame like the victims, saying like they're lying, but nobody understands that half of the cases of rape like don't get reported, right? Half of those cases don't get reported to like authorities because like half of like when you go to a cop, most of the time they don't believe you at all. So like I feel like cops could be better. Like cops could be less shitty basically. Can I say that?
Basically, I saw something on this earlier today. People aren't quick to like understand where the victim's coming from and how they felt about the case. They start jumping and asking, "Oh, where's the proof? How can you prove that this happened?" Rather than telling them, "Oh, okay, this made you feel uncomfortable. We're gonna do something about it to ensure your safety." And the thing about it's kind of like gender oriented, like how the women stopped for a person screaming for help, compared to the two drivers who passed on earlier. Maybe it was because like, because they're not like it's a young girl screaming for help. Maybe they had a reason for doing it, but then again, it's kind of like a life or death situation. That person could have been like in grave danger.
Another thing, like I feel like this happens a lot like with women, because like guys think like, oh, you're leading me on, like, you know, like yeah. So like I know this kid, like I can't say his name because this is YouTube, right? But I'm gonna call him Bob for the video. And Bob, like he just follows women around. Like they tell him like I feel uncomfortable, and he just continues following them. And like he knows like they're not comfortable around him. And like he goes like the women or like the people that he's preying on go to like an authority or like people in the school, like counselors, and they don't do anything because they think it's like fun or something, like they're just playing around or something like that.
I agree with what Gio's saying. I would like to share an example one of my friends gave me. Basically, one time in the park, we were just hanging out with this kid. I'm gonna like label him G for now. But G, we were hanging out with G and his friends. And so we were enjoying ourselves, right? We were all like, it was crazy. It was like around 7-ish. We were having, you know, wonderful hours in the park ever since it got dark out. And so G approaches my friend and slaps her on the ass. And she was immediately uncomfortable by this because one, she did not give him consent to get anywhere near her or to like touch her in any way, shape, or form in one of her private areas. And that she felt uncomfortable for the rest of the day and she didn't want to see him again, ever. And it's kind of thing where she's now afraid to go to the park because she's afraid to face him because what he said to like cover up his tracks was that, oh, you liked it. And that is also a form of not giving consent and like trying to like turn things onto the victim, where the victim is seen as the person who wanted it, and that the person, the accused, was basically the person who was like fulfilling their needs or something.
It goes deeper because like these are our bodies. Like when somebody is assaulted in that way, like you feel like you lose control of your body. So you're born into these bodies, and like this is our body to have control of. And when you're assaulted in that way, you feel like you lose control of your body. Like I can't speak for rape victims or people who have been assaulted, but like I know people who've been assaulted or people who've been raped, and they told me that they felt that way. And like the only thing you can really do is like say, like I understand, or try to like help them get through that. You have to like be by their side and like help them get through this.
We are gods and goddesses, and this is our sacred temple. No visitors allowed without permission.
So why is it important for us to teach and learn about consent?
The more we talk about consent, the more we'll see our communities and culture will shift, and it'll be more safe and like supportive.
Here are some ways that learning and practicing consent can shift our communities.
Number 1, build safety. People's consciousness around this topic will be built, therefore, more people will call out when consent isn't being asked of themselves or around them. People will be held accountable for not asking for consent. People will feel more comfortable to talk about when their choice to give consent is being threatened or is being ignored at the moment. Victims will not be attacked.
Number 2, consent will be normalized. People will make an effort to learn about others' boundaries, which can lead to people respecting others better. People will feel more comfortable to talk about consent and how it affects them.
Number 3, bring justice. People will have the right to control what they expose themselves to without harming others. People will have ownership of their own bodies and well-being. Consent can go beyond what we choose to do with our bodies. And if we teach this practice, it will bring more people to fight for their right to be included in decisions and about policies and practices that will ultimately impact them as individuals.
Lastly, here are the basics of consent. Consent is freely given,
Reversible.
Informed,
Enthusiastic.
specific.
and thank you for tuning into All Tea No Sugar. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment your own story so that we can share it with the public with consent of yours. And until next time, that's the tea.